Come on in, everyone. Come on in because we are here for the Ready to Love reunion, part one. Part one. I guess we got, is it 2 parts or 3 parts? We got 2 parts or 3 parts. What the hell was this? You know your party's a bust when you got to call security. Security. You know it's a bust. You know, I've been to a party and your friend didn't come. You're like, girl, how was the party? Girl, security had to come. I don't go to too many parties like that, but I know I've been to a few and I was like, ooh, I got to go. But when security comes, that means it's time for me to go. Let's just put it that way. Dallas, Tommy said, welcome to the reunion for DFW. Are we ready to represent the DFW? And boy, did they represent them. I remember in the beginning of the season, because remember, I didn't know the difference between DFW and like the neighborhoods, and people were talking about, Fort Worth. Fort Worth is the ghetto side. Dallas is the good side. And people were trying to make sure we knew that, no, I'm not from Fort Worth. I'm from Dallas. Well, this was a Fort Worth reunion. This wasn't no Dallas reunion. This must have been the Fort Worth. What does DFW stand for? Dallas Fort Worth. It needs to stand for disrespect, foolery. And what's the W going to stand for? Disrespect, foolery, and wigs. Let me call it wigs. Blonde wigs. Who knew that blonde wigs were in? Are blonde wigs in? Because there was a whole lot of blonde wigs on the stage this season. I guess it's in style. I don't know. I don't know nothing about fashion. I don't know nothing about hair. I don't know nothing about none of that. I'm definitely not Rashina, all things beauty. I'm definitely not Rashina, all things beauty. But it was a lot of disrespect, a lot of foolery, a lot of blonde wigs. I don't know. Be honest with y'all. I'm gonna just tell you, I was kind of confused the whole reunion. I don't know if they chopped up the reunion. Some of the fights didn't make sense. I didn't get it. It might be from the fact that so much of this reunion, or not reunion, so much of this season was done off camera. So much happened this season off camera. That's why these interviews and LaRon and Chaz, all the interviews they did and all the interviews people did throughout the season, there was so much stuff that was happening off camera that now when you get here to this reunion, you don't really quite understand why the beefs are so intense. Because if you just watch the reunion, you don't understand how and why the beefs got so intense. You don't understand why Alexis got so intense. You don't even understand why Mika is so in the butt of Alexis, why everybody, all because Alexis told Will a few things. Now they even see that she didn't say that many things, but to this level of a beef where Alexis can't speak before Mika talks, before LaRon and Alexis, and you look at the intensity of these fights and you say, I didn't see anything all season on camera that warrants this level of fighting, this level of intensity. But a lot went off camera. This is a season where most of the show happened off camera and we didn't really get to see it. Those of you who tuned into the interviews that like Chris Alexo did and that, Little Black Book did, I want to say hands off to them. Between Kamisha Reviews, Little Black Book, and Crystal XO, I want to say hands off to them. They were almost like reporters this season. I'm going to tell you that right. They were almost like investigative reporters because had it not been for them getting these cast members and digging out of them what was going on off camera, all of us viewers, which is me, because all my information comes from other YouTubers. All my information comes from there. If it weren't for them, I'm gonna tell you, we'd all be lost. If it weren't for Chris Alexo, Little Black Book, Kamisha Reviews, and hopefully I didn't miss anyone, filling us in on what was going on off camera, when you got to this reunion or even to the show period, you will be lost. Because I've watched all these, shows with, or watched the YouTubers shows so I could keep up. And I was still lost at this reunion. I still didn't get it. I mean, the amount of foolery that was on the stage, like I said, disrespect and foolery. And the disrespect was on both sides. I don't want to hear no one say that it was just the men disrespecting the women. I don't want to just hear Will's name and Alonzo's name and who else? LaRon's name, because yes, they all participated in it. But Mika, Alexis, let me tell you, they dished it out. You cannot dish it out and then say, well, you know what? Men shouldn't be speaking to women that way. Let me throw Maya in there because she had a couple of little snide remarks to make when she was backstage. They were calling Will bees and stuff backstage. I couldn't see who said it. They just had the name. And then you had Mika saying, you should be talking to no woman like that. She up there with Maya up here talking about, you shouldn't be talking to a woman like that. And she with a whole LaRon. He's down a title, a LaRon. She with a whole LaRon talking about a man shouldn't be talking about a woman like that. A lot of these people told us this season they was from the ghetto. They said they came from the bottom to the top, and it's showing. This time, from the bottom to the top, you showed it. This year we had Alonzo telling us he was from Long Beach, Strong Beach. And like I said, if you didn't watch my video yesterday, I think it's Long Beach closer to Compton, Linwood. Let's be real. We had Dominique tell us he was from, where was he from? Oh, yeah. He said he was from Nashville. He was from Nashville, the ghettos of Nashville. We had Will, whoop, telling us he was from Pompano Beach. And we had, who else? LaRon was from Trenton, New Jersey. The only one from the suburbs we heard was Chaz and Vanessa. Where the hell is Alexis from? Is she from Southside Chicago, Detroit, Gary, Indiana? Did I miss somewhere? Did I miss anywhere? Where is Alexis come from? Because we know Alexis was running around that stage talking about she gonna whoop everybody's ass. If you even breathe, I'm gonna come whoop your ass. She said she mad. Alexis says she mad. She spent a whole rack on this outfit or coming to this reunion. What's a rack, y'all? I'm telling y'all, what is a rack? Is a rack $1,000? I think that might be the street lingo for $1,000. Is that what a rack is? I sure hope it's no more than that. But she said, I spent a rack and I'm here with security and I'm leaving halfway through. Are they going to have to call her back on part 2? Because did they really finish everything they needed to finish with Alexis, or did she interrupt it? Are they going to find Alexis? Because they made Glenn come. They made Glenn come to the reunion talking about, he said, I'm only here because I don't want to get fined. That was cold. That was torture for Glenn. He didn't even look like, I think it was good that Glenn didn't come. Because I thought they were playing him, or I thought they was doing some editing, during the regular season when they were showing Glenn in the car and they were showing his outtakes and his clips. I thought they was really editing his nervousness, his anxiety. I mean, I believe some of it, but I didn't believe all of it. But seeing him here at the reunion, I'm like, nah, that's about right. It might be about right. He good looking though. He is good looking. It would have been a whole lot of women running up on him this season. So it might be good that he didn't stay. He and Laylan left. Laylan said whoever was sick is doing well now, and I know they are. I know they are. It's like calling off sick from work. All of a sudden, you get better on Friday. You had to take Thursday, Friday. You had to take off Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But all of a sudden, on Saturday morning, you feel good, just in time for the weekend. So, but yeah, Laylan, she did good. And you knew, let me tell you something. This is when you knew Laylan. I'm not going to say nobody was sick. I'm not going to say she didn't have no family issues because, hey, at any point in given time, somebody's sick in my family and I got family issues too. At any point in time, I can come up with something. But you knew it was really more than that when Tommy said, well, you know what? We're giving Glenn an additional chance to walk around the room and do some speed dating since he missed most of the season. How about you, Laylan? Do you want another chance? Is there anyone here that you want some special one-on-one time with? And Laylan was like, nope, that's okay. I'm good. I'm good. I'll take my chances out in the dating world. She said, I don't need no second chances. Nope. I might have left because someone was sick or I had family issues. But once I saw this season, I realized I had to go over there and thank them people for giving me an excuse to leave the show. Chad was disappointed because Chaz liked Laylan. Chaz liked Laylan because Laylan is smart. Laylan is in the tech industry. Laylan is beautiful. Laylan's got class. She's got poise. And that's who Chaz would have gone after. She would have been high on his. She would have been high on a lot of people's list. And when they were all speaking glowingly of Laylan, did you see all the nasty looks, like especially from Patrice? Patrice was like, she sure was mad when Chaz said he was smitten by Laylan. I'm not so sure that Chaz and Patrice didn't have something or another, off screen. Allegedly. It's not even allegedly because ain't nobody alleged. People, y'all got me all here trying to say allegedly. It's not allegedly. It's just my opinion. It's just my little instinct because I'm telling you, there was so much that happened off screen, but when you read the body language of people, you don't get it. Like when I saw Chaz talking about Laylan glowingly and they were showing those clips, I'm telling you, Patrice's look was just one of, she was really upset. And I kept thinking, well, wait a minute, Patrice, you were the one that rejected Chaz. You were the one that chose Alonzo. So even if you see this clip of Chaz speaking glowingly of Laylan and that he was her number one and that he definitely would have wanted to pursue her, why is your mouth scrunched up right now? That just tells me something else has happened. Something else I believe might have. Maybe after Patrice went through it with Alonzo, maybe she did double back and call Chaz. Remember Chaz said if anything should happen and the door opens, come on back over. Come on back over so I can use you, because there wasn't going to be no love going on. Maybe she went back over there because did y'all believe that story between Alonzo and Patrice? I didn't believe it. I believe it was maybe some truth. I think it was some truth mixed in with some lies. And the truth of the matter is, I don't think it was just the lies of Alonzo. I think it was very apparent how much Alonzo was lying. I don't think that slipped anyone. But do you really believe Patrice's side of the story? First of all, what did Alonzo have on? That suit with all those flowers on it, that suit was like a bunch of petrified roses. Alonzo had on the petrified rose suit. It's almost as if when Vanessa threw away them petrified roses, Alonzo must have run over there and picked them all up and went to some type of tailor and said, hey, make me a suit out of this. This is my inspiration. Because that suit was, is that in style too? I might be so out of the loop of what fashion is. It could be, because y'all see I pretty much wear the same thing on these videos. I could be so far off the loop on fashion that I don't even know that a petrified suit is now in fashion. Is a petrified or putrefied rose suit in fashion? Because that with the drop locks hanging down with the hat on, it was just a horrible look. It was a horrible look. But I want to say, did anyone believe that story between, what's her name? Good Lord, I'm having a senior moment. Between, I was going to call her Rashina, Patrice, and Alonzo. I didn't. Let me tell you why I don't believe it. And y'all can drop down in the comments and you can make it make sense to me, because right now it doesn't make sense to me. So here's what I don't believe. One is, like I just said, why was Patrice's face scrunched up on Chaz so much when he was mentioning other women when Patrice was the one that rejected Chaz? I don't understand that. Okay. Then what I don't understand is Everyone was on Alonzo about why would you give a woman a key to your house when you weren't willing to be committed to her. Got it. But I like to flip things, and I would say, I think giving someone a key to your home is a big step. I think it's a really, really big step, right? I agree with everyone. I agree with Tommy and everyone saying, hey, you give the person a key to your home. That's a huge step. So first of all, I want to say, why would a key be given so soon? I felt like it was too soon to give someone a key to your house. The way they were talking, that to me just seemed odd. The second thing is, even if Alonzo was, shouldn't have done it, right? That he was fooling with her. He was playing games and he gave her a key. I have a kind of like a problem with Patrice and accepting it, because people want to talk about when you give a gift of significance, it means something. But you know what else means? When you accept it. If someone gives you a ring, say an engagement, that's a big step. That's a big commitment. I love you. I want to marry you. But when you accept the ring, it's just as big of a commitment. That means you're telling him, I want to marry you. I'm committed to you. So when you give a key to someone's house, and that's a big step, I agree. Accepting the key is another big step. And I'm thinking, why the hell would Patrice want to accept such a big gift from Alonzo? Wasn't she just saying that Alonzo wasn't even on her level, that Alonzo lived in an apartment and she ain't lived in an apartment for 15 years, but now you accepting a key to the apartment? And then you're showing up to his house unannounced at 10 or 11 o'clock at night. No, hey, baby, what you doing? I'm going to come over. I'm on my way. Even just casual conversation. How old is Patrice? Isn't Patrice like her mid-40s? I know she's got 3 kids. I thought Patrice was like around 43, 44 years old. It just seems like odd behavior of a 44-year-old woman to show up at a man's house unannounced at 10 o'clock at night. I didn't really buy the story. And then Alonzo saying I was outside my house. She was helping me with my Jeep. What? At 10 o'clock at night? Why would you, a grown man, need help from a woman with your Jeep? And then you're getting groceries. I don't know. All these things, they all are possible, but are they likely? You see, a story can be possible, but is it likely? Is it likely all this happens at the exact same time? Going to the grocery store, your car break down. Well, how did you get to the grocery store? He took you to the grocery. That's what she came over for, to take you to the grocery store. And then Patrice is coming over at 10 o'clock at night. Remember, Patrice said in the very beginning she was tired of dating men where she had to drive 45 minutes to that man. Remember, Patrice said that. I'd be having to drive 45 minutes to get to a man. So now here you have Patrice again driving 45 minutes at 10 o'clock at night to get to Alonzo, and Alonzo don't even know she's coming, and she don't even know Alonzo's having car trouble. Well, if Alonzo had car trouble, why wouldn't he call her? If she's willing to drive 45 minutes, none of it makes sense. And let me tell you what else doesn't make sense. What doesn't make sense is a 44-year-old woman coming to a man's house at 10 o'clock at night, catching him with another woman, and then you saying you met up with the woman. You 44. You met up with her? You mean you just didn't call her? How did you meet up with her? How did you get her number? How did you even arrange a meetup? Did you arrange the meetup there when you called him with this woman? And you said, hey, give me your number. Let's get together. How did you get her number to call her to even meet up with her? Or how did she get yours? You texted, you called, you said, let's meet at a restaurant. Why at 44 would you want to meet up with her? Even if you wanted to know a little bit of information about was he cheating? How long have you been together? Why would you meet up? Why wouldn't you just text it? Or why wouldn't you just call her? You mean to tell me you actually took time out of your day to drive somewhere and meet some random woman that you say was cheating with your man, that you had a key to his house after only knowing him a little bit? And then, oh no, it wasn't just one, it was 4 women. Really? Alonzo's this desirable? 4 women, 5 women, including Patrice, want Alonzo? Does Patrice like to be part of foursomes? Remember, she joined the harem of Chaz when Chaz had 3 women going after him. Then all of a sudden she wants to be the 4th. Is this? Did Alonzo really tell her about all these other women? And Patrice said, that's okay. I'm willing to be the fourth or the fifth one. She did it before. She joined the crew the last time. Alonzo said, I don't understand why I can't have female friends that I dated. Shoot, I got a problem with it. Most people would have a problem with it. But maybe he was honest with Patrice, and maybe Patrice said that's okay because we've seen her do it before. We've seen her go into a crowded field and have no problem with it. We said then, why does Patrice want to be on the roster of Chaz? What? Because she wants to compete? She wants to compete with these other women and outdo these other women? She wants to knock Vanessa out her spot? Why was she going after Chaz? We had a lot of speculation. We had a lot of ideas. We had a lot of theories. We still don't know the whole truth. I speculated all season. I gave my little theories. But now I got to ask, why would Patrice join the harem of Alonzo? Now Alonzo got a harem and Patrice is joining that one too for a man that she says don't even own a house, that lives in an apartment, and he got 4 women on the roster and you make the 5th one, and then you meeting up with the ladies like sister wives. Ugh. Let me tell you something. They better hope I don't believe this story. It's better that I don't believe the story, and it's better that I think they're all liars. Both Alonzo and Patrice are liars, because if they want me to believe the story, it's worse. It's worse. The best of both worlds is that it's a lie. Right? Because then I go, okay, it's all a lie. But if you want me to believe the story, it's worse. It's absolutely worse. Because Patrice, if you think about it, she was at the root of a lot of messiness. Now she was also at the root of the messiness with Will. What was that all about? Now you look back and you say, what was Patrice's reasoning for going in on Will that much about the palette? And Patrice all of a sudden talking about she didn't know the difference between a staged home. What? You said you drive around celebrities. That's what you told us. You drive around celebrities and you don't know nothing about the world of staging houses. You own a house. You don't talk about you don't live in no apartment. You know, Chaz is on your level and you don't know what staging meant. Nope. She knows what staging meant. She was lying there too. She was lying there. That's what I said. If you think about Patrice, you might could classify her as a liar. I know everybody wants to just say Alonzo's a liar, and we can agree on that. We absolutely can agree. But Patrice is a liar too. She lied on Will. Now, maybe she lied on Will because they were tired of Will talking about his money. Well, if you think about it, they was talking about money the whole season from the very beginning. What these ladies concentrated on was how these men were dusties and they was broke, right? So they talked about these men all season long about they was dusties and they was broke. We had a gold digger on the show who was Maya. We had Patrice talking about how people were broke, sleeping on pallets, right? We had everybody on here talking about money. We had all the women going after the man who they thought had money, which was Chaz. They weren't looking at no other characteristic of Chaz but the money. That's it. So they was talking about money. They was going after Chaz because they thought he had money. But all of a sudden it's Will's fault because he's talking about money. Part of it could be he was defending himself because they were talking about money so much. Even LaRon had to talk about money a lot. LaRon had to talk about how he lived in Dallas in a high rise and he could live off 50% of his paycheck. He had to puff himself up so much about his money that eventually he caught the eye of Maya, the gold digger. That's how he got Maya talking about money. But now everybody want to be mad at Will, who's talking about money, when the reality is the money conversation came up a lot with the women too. They talked about money a lot. A lot of this whole season was surrounding women using men for money. But now they want to get mad at the men for flashing their money or flashing their cubic zirconia like LaRon was talking about. It was a whole lot of hypocrisy going on this season. A lot of hypocrisy. It's a lot of people pointing the finger this way, but really the finger could be pointed this way. Everything you say about the women, you could say about the men. Everything you say about the men, you could say about some of the women. You absolutely could. No one is innocent this season. No one at all. I can't believe we had a whole segment talking about what the word stage meant. And once it was, Once it was agreed upon what the word stage meant for a house, and Will gave his explanation of the pallet and sleeping in the stage home or whatever else we can call. And they said, Patrice, now that you know that you misconstrued it or maybe you messed it up, do you feel it was wrong? Do you feel you want to take it back? She said, no. Which means the truth never mattered in the first place. You see, once you know the truth and you still don't factor in the truth to maybe what you said or did earlier, and you say, nope, that really means the truth never mattered in the first place. The truth was a convenient excuse. The truth was a convenient excuse that I didn't like him in the first place. And this is what I used to break up with him, or not to break up, to say I didn't like him. But the truth is I didn't like him in the first place. And I believe that goes back to the Alonzo story with Patrice. I don't think Patrice really cared about Alonzo in the first place. I really don't. She played him on the show. And I think maybe she had to come up with some good story of how it all ended. Like I said, it could be part truth, part lie, but whatever it is, if it is the truth, it's a horrible, horrible story. The truth is horrible. The truth is horrible if it was a lie or a truth. I know Koshia tried to explain why she was so mad at Alexis, and they're going, I still don't understand the intensity of the argument amongst these people. I may understand a little bit of why Koshia was mad, but even if you peel back the layers with Alexis and you say, well, they've come to find out now that Alexis didn't do as much as they thought that she did, but yet the intensity is still there. So, I don't know. I don't know what went off camera. I think so much has gone on off camera that it's hard to follow the reunion because you don't understand all of the comments and the remarks. And let me tell you, what's his name? Alonzo thought he was good at playing the Dirty Dozens because he said he grew up in a house where that's what they did. But that little banter back and forth between Mika and Will, that was funny. They both got in some good blows. They both got in some good blows. And let me tell you, when you're going toe to toe with a man, you can't now wave the red flag and say, don't talk to a woman like that. Nope. Once you get in the ring and you puff out your chest and you start blabbing at the mouth, you can't then turn around and say, oh, I'm a protected female, don't talk to me like that. Nah, because the blows that Will was doing and the blows that Mika were doing were both low. They was both low. In actuality, Mika, I don't even know why Mika was chiming up, because when Mika started talking, it was really about Koshia and Alexis. Those were the two having the conversation. It was Mika who then started saying, why are the people who got off the show so early even having anything to say? Well, first of all, Mika, the producers kept you on the show just long enough for her to meet Justin. It's good. It's really good. It worked out for the best. Just like Glenn said, sometimes things work out for the best, because had Glenn not gone, Justin would not have come. And if Justin would not have come, Mika wouldn't have had a mate. Maybe Mika wouldn't have met the love of her life, if that's what we're going to hear. But the truth of the matter is, Mika really should have been one of the ones gone by episode 2. So I don't really understand why Mika was getting in the middle of Koshia and Alexis's little battle and chiming up, because what? Mika's buddies with Koshia, they remember they was thick as thieves, but shoot, in the end, Koshia went home and Mika stayed. Koshia went home and Mika stayed, and everybody kept saying, I don't even understand how Koshia went home, because they really wanted Mika to go. Let's be real about it. So really, I'm gonna be honest with you, Mika threw the first blow. Mika jumped into a fight between Alexis and Koshia that she shouldn't have jumped in on that moment. And then after that, things started going left. Then Will jumped in, and then it just kept going from there, a downhill, a downhill, a downhill. Security. Even Mika said to Alexis, you didn't have nothing to say all season, and now this is the most talkative I've ever seen you. You didn't have nothing to say all season, but now you talking up. Well, that's interesting. Did y'all hear that? Mika said to Alexis, you didn't have anything to say all season long, but now you speaking up. That's interesting, because the way they want to point Alexis is that Alexis is messy and that Alexis was stirring up a bunch of mess. Well, how can both be true? How can it be true that, according to Mika, Alexis didn't have anything to say all season, but now all of a sudden she has a lot to say. Is that the reason why Alexis is so mad? That she has that she has taken a lot of blows all season, and now where she gets here, she's finally fed up? Because that didn't make any sense to me. But it makes sense when you start listening to what Alexis has. Remember, Alexis hasn't done any interviews. Alexis did drop that Facebook post saying that initially she was the one that was recorded by the women. That was the first infraction by the so-called solidarity between men and women. Alexis says the first infraction of the solidarity wasn't when she even said anything to Will. It was when she was recorded. She was recorded at a mixer with the women, which was on day one, before she even could say anything to Will. Alexis's story is that she wasn't the instigator. She always said, I'm not the instigator, but I'm the finisher. That is one thing Alexis has always said. I'm not the instigator, but I'm a finish it. You're not going to just run over me. And if you look at this reunion, you had Mika say that, you know what, Alexis, all of a sudden now you didn't have anything to say all season. You were so quiet, but now you come on the reunion and you want to pipe up. Well, wait a minute. That doesn't go with the narrative they've been spinning of Alexis. The narrative they've been spinning on Alexis is Alexis kept her mouth running. And even we see now that Alexis didn't tell Will or any of the men as much as they said she did. In fact, as the season has played out, we realize that the people with the biggest loose lips have been LaRon and Mika. When you really look at how it's all played out, the people with the biggest loose lips have been LaRon and Mika. It has not even been Alexis. But then you have Mika over here talking about you didn't want to have nothing to say all season. Why is Mika even on the couch during this scene when it was really going to be about Koshia and Alexis? See, when I tell you I was lost in this reunion, it gives me a lot of questions. I didn't understand the full-on rage of Alexis. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand where it came from. But when I thought back to what Mika said, I started to think differently. I started to think, what if Alexis isn't as bad as they say that she is? She looked horrible on the show. She absolutely was unhinged. She was off the rails. And I didn't understand all that heat. I didn't understand why everybody was trying to, even when she was getting heated, you had Alonzo coming over there trying to calm her down. You had Will touching her, calming her down. You had a lot of people trying to calm her down because I guess what they didn't want to happen is they didn't want it to come to blows. And she was like, don't touch me. She didn't feel protected by any of those men. If you look at Alexis didn't feel protected by anyone on that stage. She didn't want to even feel protected by anyone. And then you had Justin, who actually started chiming up and clapping back at Alexis. But if you remember, Justin wasn't even on the show. Was Justin on the show when Alexis was there? Oh yeah, he was on the show when Alexis was there. He came pretty early, right? But even what he had to say to Alexis, in one way they want to say that Will shouldn't speak to Mika in the way that he did, calling her a baby mama with the tubes tied. but then her man was really clapping back at Alexis. Like I said, it's a lot of hypocrisy. I got more questions, y'all, than answers. Typically, I be coming on these reviews telling you what my viewpoint is, what my opinion is, what I think about everybody. But to be honest with you, after I watched this whole episode, I came away with more questions than I had answers. So some of y'all going to have to fill in the answers for me down in the comments because as you see, I've asked a lot of questions. I'm bringing up a lot of, what's going on here right now? Because I know one thing, a lot of shit went on off camera. A lot of stuff. Even that part when they were playing back and they were showing that Alonzo liked Laylan. Did you hear Patrice with her little nasty comments? Well, going over there. What was she saying? She got jealous of the fact that at the beginning, Alonzo liked Laylen. Like I said, Patrice had her mouth scrunched up over Chaz, and her mouth was scrunched up over Alonzo. I told y'all Patrice likes to run men. Patrice has got a jealous spirit. She likes to run men, and she's competitive. She's competitive. She could play all she wants to. I know who Patrice is. I know who Patrice is. Even that whole blow up over what kicked off that fight between Alexis and LaRon when she was calling him the messiest or whatever, because everybody assumed that quote that Tommy had read came from Alexis. And in the end, after the whole blow up, you had William walk away and tell April that he was the one that actually said the comment about LaRon, because we all know now that LaRon was the messiest. They keep wanting to paint Alexis as the messiest, and she wasn't. It's actually LaRon. It was LaRon and it was Mika. Because think about it, y'all. If it was Will and Alexis that were the messiest of the season, just like Mika said, they were the ones that went home the earliest. Hear it out. Mika said, "Why do the people who went home early have so much to say?" Okay, let's go with it, Mika. You're right. Now you say that the people who on this reunion has so much to say went home earlier. Those same people who she was really referencing are Will and Alexis. And LaRon and Mika tell it, Will and Alexis are the messiest. Well, let me ask you this. If the messiest people went home the earliest in the show, why was there so much messiness all season long to the end? Hear me out again. If the mess was caused by the two people, Will and Alexis, and those two people, like LaRon said, we got to get rid of them. Will got to go. Alexis got to go. If they got those people out at the beginning of the season, we should have been through smooth sailing. There shouldn't have been no more messiness. It should have been smooth sailing. But guess what? We had mess all season long. So for mess to happen all season long, that would mean that the people who were the messiest have to be the people who made it to the end. That's logic. Because if you part of the mess, when you gone, the mess should go away. But if the mess is still here, that means we didn't get the messiest. And I'm going to tell you right now, and let me tell you, the messiest people all season long were LaRon and Mika. They were the messiest. From the very beginning, when they were part of that first crew, I believe they hatched a plan. They hatched a plan to make it to the end. I believe it was going to be Koshia, LaRon, and Mika. And Koshia became a casualty of the plan. She became a casualty of the plan. And that's why they're so mad at Alexis, because they feel like Alexis took out their partner in crime. They act like they was in Set It Off with Queen Latifah, and Alexis got Koshia knocked off. And now they came for Alexis. That's what I believe. Because a lot of these stories about Alexis and Will, they now start to feel a bit fabricated. They feel a bit blown out of proportion. They feel a little bit constructed. That's what I'm starting to believe. And who was the constructor? Who did it? It's the very people still sitting on. It's the people who made it to the end. And I'm going to tell you, that's what I think. I think the messiest of all are LaRon and Mika. That's what I think. That's exactly what I think. And I knew it from the very beginning, because I remember when the first person got kicked off, which was, what was the man's name? Remember, Mika was the one that coined the phrase, the nutcracker. Mika was the one that coined the phrase, the nutcracker, to the man that got kicked off the first. I forgot his name. Diamante. Was his name Diamante? I forget his name. Diamante. And I didn't, it was funny at the time, but now that you look back on it, you think about the blows that were being thrown on the women, even with April's statement about William, about what she said about William. You start to think about how the women were talking about the men very, very early on. Some of the mean things that they were saying about the men. You now have April, a clip of April talking very meanly about very meanly about Will from the very beginning. Okay. You have Mika talking very badly about DeMonte very early in the season, to the fact that when he came on Ready to Love, Kojo's channel, that was when I got my first clue about Mika, that she was messy, because she was all in the chat on DeMonte. And I was like, DeMonte wasn't even on the show but for one day. Like, how could he have stirred up the ire, the disdain for Mika, for Mika to be down in the comments, the chat of this interview, and clowning DeMonte? And I was like, what happened that DeMonte was gone on the first episode, but Mika don't like DeMonte to the point where she's coming in and poking at him in the chat? And I thought something must have happened off season, because it didn't make any sense. But now you start looking at, you look at the whole season, I'm pretty certain that Mika's messy. And I don't know who Justin is really, but he better watch out. He better watch out. He better watch out. That's all I got to say. He better watch out. But anyway, that's it, y'all. Like I said, I got a lot of questions, so I'm probably going to need y'all to drop down in the comments and set them on fire and fill in the holes for me, because I am lost. I am lost. Anyway, talk to y'all later. Bye.